Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Lina Lopez. I'm the founder of AbortionData, and it's an honor for me today to present Patrick Zaki. Patrick is a research, a human rights defender who works on gender and religious minorities rights in he's a master's degree student at the University of Bologna, a collaborator of several newspapers and NGOs. So, Patrick, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. And I would like you to tell us more about yourself and your work.
Welcome. It's my pleasure to be with you today, Lina, and it's a great honor for me to be one of the guests of launching of this huge project. I'm really pleased to be part of this launching event. When I received the invitation, I was pleased to be chosen to participate in your launching. It was a great honor for me, and I'm thinking that this project will be a great thing and a great project that can help a lot of like researchers, academics, and students who are really into searching about info related to abortion data in our region and even in all over the world in the upcoming steps. So I'm really pleased. For me right now, I'm pursuing my master degree in gender studies with the University of Bologna, um, and I'm doing some articles related to gender and religious minorities with collaboration with some American and Italian journals and think tanks. Um, and resuming my research as a human rights defender, and that's all for now.
Thank you. It's amazing. Well, I would like to start asking you something a bit personal. That is, when was the first time that you hear about abortion?
Look, this question is a little bit like tricky because when it's the first time to hear about it or to deal with it, like it's a little bit like buzzing for me. But the first time for sure for hearing about it, it's in the cinema. Like when I was watching the TV, I see this in the television in one of the films that a lady with a problem and she want to have abortion because being in a relation with someone. That was the first time to signify or to know that there's something called so, but to deal with it or to be part of the process, it was in the university because one of my colleagues was in a trouble because she need to go through the procedure of having abortion, but uh, that's not easy in Egypt and it's illegal. And we will talk in details in the upcoming questions about this for sure. So that was the first time to hear about it and to go through the hassle of this experience of making like portion or something like this.
Do you think that that memory is representative for the context of abortion seekers in Egypt?
Yeah, sure. Because every time the human deal with such problem of you are having a friend, a sister, a colleague, or anyone who's having like the chance that she need to go through abortion and she didn't find any way to have a safe one because we are in a region that didn't welcome the abortion by any mean, except like in one or two countries who had like some regulations that can let you have go through the procedure of having abortion. So in our countries, in especially Arabic and Muslim countries, it's really hard to go through this experience. You will face a lot of hassles. Women are not having the upper control over their bodies or making their own choices. So it's really hard, and yeah, for sure, I'm relating to the first time I hear about it, and it's really embedded in the social context of everyone. I don't think like there is someone from any spectrum in Arabic country who didn't pass by a hard experience considering abortion, and this is give us the meaning and the importance of talking about such an important topic nowadays in our region.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, abortion is one of the oldest medical practices, and yeah, one of the first places that abortion was documented. It was in the ancient Egypt. But we would like to know how is the situation now in Egypt and in the MENA region. So could you tell us more
Yeah,
about the laws and yeah?
yeah. Look, to talk about this, it's like it will be differentiated into a lot of classes. Like first of all, the abortion seekers who are going ask about abortion, for sure that differ from one class to the other, because in the I think it's like intersecting with the social class. How hard will be the process? Um, First of all, abortion is not legalized in Egypt, because I came from Egypt, so I will start with Egypt. And To have a look over the Swana region, and I choose Swana region, not MENA region, for some political reason, because Swana region is more into depends on how it looks over the world, and not in refer with the European naming for us, like as a region. So Swana region, uh, Egypt had no legalization for abortion for sure. Only Turkey and Tunisia, uh, the two countries, have some legalization, and it's hard, by the way, there, but they have some legalization that in the first 10 weeks of pregnancy, you can go through a procedure if you want to have it, and you should show a real and concrete reasons for why you want to make the abortion. Not like it's an easy way or soft way. No, you should show that you are at risk, or you are facing some health problems, or you have a problem, or you discover a problem with your embryo, so you need to go through this. And by the way, it's sometimes accepted, and sometimes, most of the time, it's not accepted. So the situation completely the same in our region, considering Egypt, because that's the place where I came from. If we want to talk about the law, the penal code law in Egypt have five five codes that talking especially about abortion. First of all, according to the Egyptian law, the definition of abortion is to deliberate termination of pregnancy, prematurity, and when this is done, the elements of what they say or what they code as a crime are available, even if the pregnancy remains in the mother's womb due to her this. Even if this happened, you are making a crime. There is five codes, which is really important when we are talking about abortion in Egypt. The law, article number 260, 261, 262, 263, until we reach 264. Um, the most common thing, or the thing that related to our talk today, is number 261, 262, and 3 and 4. 261 is saying whoever deliberately cause a miscarriage of a pregnant woman by giving her medication, or by using means leading to that, or by indicating them to her, like giving her a reference to the place, or to the how to do it, with or without her consent, shall be punished with detention. And detention in Egypt mean that he should be imprisoned from 6 months to 3 years. This is the first one. The second one, the woman who consented to taking the drugs with her knowledge of them, or consistent to the use of affirmation means, or enable others to use methods to make a portion, she should be facing penalty. So now the law is criminalizing the way of having the process of abortion throughout a doctor, or throughout medicine, or by any mean. This is like 261 and 262. 263, if the miscarriage was a doctor, surgeon, pharmacist, or a midwife, he shall be sentenced to the hard labor. Like he will be in the prison for mostly the rest of his life. And by the way, throughout my research, I had the experience to deal with doctors who have been banned from the syndicate of medicine. Um, and they didn't have the permission to have a clinic, or to make any official activity as a doctors, after being reported that they making like abortion surgeries. We have a lot of examples in Egypt of people who do so. Um, the final thing, and the one that that most of the Egyptian women are using, is the article number 264, that no punishment for initiating miscarriage. Like if you only think about it, or if you were planning for this, you will not be punished. So that's good. That's good for us. That if you are planning only, you will not be punished, because we have a lot of like another punishments ways. whereas like the Egyptian legalized system um, uh, really penalizing hardly anyone who's dealing with this kind of work. Um, and if we are talking about the last UN committee that had been held like few months ago, in their report on the large number of women who's like having unsafe abortion in Egypt, they asked the Egyptian authorities uh, to make a real regulation and to legalize abortion, because it's one of the main fundamentals of human rights, and that the UN committee telling them that part of their work is to defend the birth and the bodies of women. So they asked them to make like amending to change the amending articles number 261 and 262 and 263 and 264 that I was talking about in the last few minutes from the criminal law, because that's making a real risk over the life of women in Egypt, because um, brutalizing and making it that hard to have abortion really affecting their life and affecting their health and affecting their psychological state, and being a huge pressure, and it's a part of the patriarchal system. And if we are talking about Egypt and our Arab region, we should put into consideration the Muslim culture, which really brutalize the abortion. And if we go for Al Azhar, the main house for proceeding or producing like the opinions about the most problematic things that are related to the body, to the women, to the everything of our daily life. Al Azhar have give the permission to more than one time. They asked Al Azhar about their opinion. Al Azhar said that in the first 8 weeks, if there is a risk of this over a woman, she can go through the abortion. But even after this, the Egyptian government didn't accept or didn't give the permission of having or going through abortion, except after going through a very hard procedure. That if you know that you are pregnant, you will not receive the permission even after the pass of the first 8 weeks. So it's a cycle. At the end of this cycle, it's forbidden and it's penalized and it's hard, and there is no legal way to go through to have abortion surgery in Egypt. And even if we want to talk about this, we want to talk about the struggles of the women in Egypt and in our Arab region, how they face or what they face to have or go through an abortion surgery. As I mentioned before, it depends on your uh, class, because people in the lower class, they go through using a clinics, and they call it in Egypt, give it the name under the stairs. And under the stairs is a referring for very polluted places, not clean. Uh, there is no hygiene, very expensive for their income. Like you are talking about 15,000 Egyptian pounds, and the normal income for a normal person in Egypt is like 1.5 thousand pounds. Like it's a cost of 1 year of working, more than 1 year of working for a normal person. And uh, the economical paying of this, we should put into consideration on our focus how much it costs you. And we are talking only about surgeries, because for sure the bills are not found in pharmacies and it's not legal. Some people used to use some other medications for some other symptoms, for other diseases, to use it to make abortion. But after the Egyptian government know that ladies are using those medicines for other reasons, they stopped it and they put it in like that it should be go out by a prescription from a doctor, to prevent everyone to have the access to have these medicines in an easy way. So I didn't mention like those kind of medicines because it's forbidden in Egypt, and they deal with it in Egypt like it's a drug. It's drugs. You should go for a drug dealer to bring it. I'm really meaning this. You should go for a drug dealer to ask about the abortion medications. And I think like the bill, the last time I know someone who asked about it, it was for 450 Egyptian pounds, which is so much for someone from a specific class. Uh, Here is what we were talking about the lower class. If we go for the middle class, uh, here they are always feeling the pressure and the risk that if we go for a clinic that's, as the Egyptians say it or call it, like under the stairs, we are in a risk of bleeding until this. Everyone who I know from this class are always afraid for going for those clinics under the stairs, because we are afraid of going through the process of bleeding until this, and to go through the risk of this, and no one will help you, because if you are doing this in a place under stairs, if you go to the hospital in an emergency case, you will be penalized. They will not save you only. No, after saving you, they will make a case for you, and you should go for the prison for months for going through this process. So the situation is not easy, and here I was focusing in Egypt, but the same experiences you can found in Saudi Arabia, in Oman, in Algeria, in as much as conservativity are increased, you will find more hard experiences for women who are passing by the experience of searching for abortion methods. Um, by the way, Lena, if you want to stop me and ask me about something, you can do it, because I know that I'm always talking a lot and trying to collect all the infos in one question. So you can stop me and ask me about anything that you want.
No, it's great. Actually, everything that you say is super interesting. I just would like that you make a bit more emphasis on the relationship between the religion and the abortion law and the abortion access.
Yeah, for sure. As I mentioned for you, the we apprise the majority in our region, in the Swena region, are Muslims, and the Muslim religious, the Quran, forbidden the abortion in a way that, to be honest, there is no specific speech that forbidden abortion, but the analysis of the words that have been made by the Islamic institution go to push all the countries to forbidden abortion. Um, it's forbidden in a way uh, to miscarriage and imperium, which is found in all the religions, by the way, not only the Muslim one, but they use it from a patriarchal and conservative scope to make it a forbidden thing, and to make it like uh, 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 a penalized thing. And this is can show us how the countries use sometimes some analysis from their point of view for some religious to push into some stuff. And this is the scenario here. Yeah, for sure, the Quran didn't have an obvious thing, or a, a final statement that uh, forbidding or preventing abortion, but they used uh, some words and some phrases from Quran to formalize this, or to make it like a legal thing that abortion is forbidden. If we want to talk about our region, for sure we will stand for the filter of the religious, the filter of the patriarchal government, the filter of the class, because it's really like the most important three cores. If we are talking about something like abortion and we want to talk about it, we should go through those three filters or three scopes to have a vision over this topic.
Great, thank you. Yeah, well, according what you said, the situation of abortion seekers in Egypt and the Saharan region is pretty complicated. And according to the World Health Organization, data from 2003, 1.5 million abortions are done in unsafe conditions. And this is the one of the main causes for maternal death, actually represent 11% of the maternal death. Regarding Egypt, there is data from 1997 that it says that is the 20% cause of maternal death. But one of the things that is more impressive when I'm talking this about these statistics, one is the fact that unsafe abortion is really hard. Is what you said. The conditions are horrible. I cannot imagine everything that the person go through to get an abortion. The risk is super high. are costing the life of many people. Like, I'm sure that they are costing tons of money as well for public health,
Yeah,
but also there is no data. The
yeah.
data is super old.
Yeah, for sure. We are today with your project, which is mainly focusing on data. So we should go through data. Look, the disappearance of data is something related to a big umbrella, not only a portion. From my point of view, it's about the related to the freedom of expression and the freedom for access for data. And Egypt and our region are really varied in this. If we are talking about data, I think it's different from place to the other in our region. For example, I think like Tunisia have more access for data. Lebanon have more access for data, but Egypt, Saudi Arabia, some of Asian, South Asian countries, some places don't have this access for data because they don't want to do this effort, as they didn't want to show how much they are making women are struggling in their countries. Because if they do so, they will pay for this. They will pay attention. They will pay money. They will being penalized by some international organizations or institutions like the UN. So they are not exerting effort in this. Uh, for example, in Egypt, like how can I get data? I didn't get data about anything related to my work, not only abortion, but I mean FGM. Even we don't have an accurate number about the women found in Egypt. Like the smallest thing, we don't have an accurate number for this. You don't reach an accurate number about the number of women that you have in your country. So how can I get a number about something like the abortion, about how much of them are educated, how much of them have a sexual education, how much of them have the chance to make a safe abortion, how much of them have known what's the procedure that you should go through if you want to go through abortion or something like this. So uh, it's really hard to have an access for data in most of our countries, our region. I think like some countries are taking a step forward, like Tunisia, uh, um, uh, I mean, sometimes Morocco, I read some info from there. Sometimes I think like the civil society in Lebanon are making a huge efforts. All the respect for them because they reach some progress in spite of their economical situation, but they are doing their best. So I think that's only the countries that you can reach concrete data. All Africa, all Africa, and all South Asia and Arabic countries in Asia are really rarely to have concrete data from them about something like abortion because it's forbidden there. So they will not give you the access to have a data about something like this.
I understand. And from your like from your experience, something that I really like feel as a woman, as a person with the capacity to have abortion and with the capacity to get pregnant, is, so if I want to go to a safe abortion there, what are the options? What is the alternative to do it?
As I mentioned for you, that's very challengeable because if you want to go through um, safe abortion, you need to have a real concrete proof from a doctor who's working in a governmental institution, and even not a private sector, a doctor who's working in a governmental institution. And by the way, if you go for this doctor, it's not by book. If the doctor is a conservative Muslim or conservative Coptic, he can easily didn't give you the prescription that you have the right to do it. It's something related to his opinion or his mood. Maybe he's now angry. No, I will not accept this. Maybe he's not feeling good today. No, I will not accept it. So it's not something that are moderated by a real law or a concrete perspective. No, it's fragile, and because it's forbidden in most of the cases, so they are taking the easy way or the smooth way. I don't want to have the responsibility of that. I write something like this because, by the way, sometimes if you write this, you will be the doctor who give the permission of the abortion. He's part of the equation, so he could be asked, he could be in a responsibility, so he will not risk with his work for something like this. uh, that's why it's very challengeable thing. And here we are talking about the procedure of a legal thing. And to be honest, and everyone know that most of the cases are not in this curriculum of the legal thing. Most of them are in the other sector, who are not like who is not accepted by the society, who is not accepted by the culture, who is not accepted by the religious, or not accepted by everyone. Look, abortion is a real stigma in Egypt for the people and for the Arabic region. Any woman who go through abortion, she's stigmatized, and everyone having a look at her that she's doing something wrong, or she didn't obey the religious. So it's another pressure over the women in our region who want to go through this experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. And now I would like to know from your perspective and your life experience as a man in the Sahel region, what do you think is your role and responsibility in the fight for abortion rights?
Look, I want first, before this, to tell you some about the challenges of collecting data on abortion in our
Ah,
region, because yeah, because I face this a lot.
yes.
First thing that I want to talk about, like there's some factors that we want to talk about. First thing, the stigma and secrecy. Abortion is a highly stigmatized thing in our region, and many people are reluctant to discuss it publicly. Like everyone is afraid to talk about it publicly or to ask about it publicly, even over social media and over Facebook, because there is some like policemen or men who are related to police station are always following everyone over social media, over the groups who are talking about those topics, and following how they get some medication in an illegal way, or go through asking about clinics who are making abortion in an illegal way, and they arrest them. So even you don't have the space to search over social media uh, uh, about something like this. Second thing, that like the legal restriction put over us a pressure that we can't uh, go to the hospital or a governmental hospital to ask them, we want to know from you how many even legal abortion had take place in your hospital. We don't have this right as a researcher in Egypt. I don't have the right to go to ask an institution about the number of legal abortion that take place in the hospital. So I need to make a lot of permissions, which will take like a lot of months to only have the chance to go to ask about one number in a hospital or in a governmental institution. Another thing, that all over the world or in some countries there is a limited access to the health care. Egypt is one, and our region is one of these countries. Many women in our Arabic uh, region or Swana region have lack access to quality health care, especially in remote and rural areas. By the way, I forgot about how it depends on your location also. Because, for example, in Egypt, if you are in Cairo, Alexandria, um, it's a little bit easy for you to reach a dealer for medications after bill, morning after bill, or to find or to ask about a way to find a clinic that make it in illegal way abortion. Um, but if you go for Upper Egypt, which is most of Egyptian, if you go for like Delta region, if you go to Sinai, it's forbidden. Some ladies face to being killed by their families because they were searching about this. So we should not miss this. We should not miss this fact that for sure that's like it's usual in every country. When you go to the capital, I mean in our region, when you go to the capital, it's more progressive a little bit. There is more spaces. But if you go down, if you go up, if you go right or to the left, it will be hard. So the fact of the location is really important when we are talking about abortion. Um, Another thing, data collection methods. As I mentioned to you, the methods used to collect data of abortion can also impact the reliability of of the data. For example, self-reported data may be subjected to bias or being changed or misreporting. That can affect our work. Like for me, if I want to make a research about what happened in 2022 about abortion, some people will do some a real concrete data, but some others don't like the idea, so they will ruin the work or ruin the survey that I'm doing, or attacking the survey, or doing something like this. So that lead us at the end of the day for a misqualification for our data that we are trying to collect. And this is don't help us to make any progress in this file or in on the healthcare of women, because abortion is one of the main important things when we are talking regarding the healthcare of the women in our region. Politically sensitive. How it's politically sensitive? I don't think that I had ever heard that any political party, even from the far right to the far X, maybe one party, had talked before about the abortion in our region, or that they are defending. No, to be honest, in Tunisia, there's some parties, in Lebanon, there's some parties. Other than those, you will not find anyone who's talking about this. And another place, Palestine, there is two universities are doing a great job about this in Palestine, but it's really rare, when we are putting in comparison with other places. There is no political parties that are taking uh, abortion as one of their priority, or one of their main focus when we are talking about politics related to the women, or related to the re- reproduction health, or reproduction rights, or stuff like this. So those are like the challenges that we are facing when we are talking about collecting data related to abortion.
Do you think there is any reason because there are not these political parties and there are no like this movement?
Here we will talk about another thing, like we will talk about politics. Like there is nothing like related to politics in our countries like now right now, because there is no left, and there is no any any chance or any space for anyone to talk except the right wing, and the one who's really related to the government and to the power. So we are asking about real primary things, like that we want a chance to go out of the prisons, not about abortion. Like they are imprisoning people for sharing their opinions. So to ask about the rights of abortion now, it's always, for me, it's always a priority, and it's always I'm a guy who's thinking about the that while we are doing a revolution, we should ask about everything in the same time. We shouldn't pick something and let the other. So there is no chance to ask about anything right now in our countries. We are in a horrible time, and I think like that make a bad impact over the political parties that didn't get me the chance or the space to ask about something like this, or to ask about anything, by the way. They only in the hustle of asking about releasing some political prisoners. That's how the governments make them only have the chance to think about it, how to get the people out of the prison. We don't have any atmosphere for political participation of political work in our countries.
Sorry, it's really hard to hear. So yeah, so now thank you for sharing this part of the data. It was pretty important, and I forgot to ask it about it. So yeah, I would like to know, like, from your perspective as a man in this topic, what do you think that is your role?
From my perspective as a man from the Middle East region, look, I'm always, when I'm talking about something related to women bodies and to women rights, I should take two step backs, because I'm pro feminist. I can't say that I'm a feminist guy, because being feminist should make you pass by the experience that the women are passing by. I'm, at the end of the day, I'm a man from Middle East, who are privileged, because I'm man. So when I'm seeing or looking at the rights of women, I should take two step back and to listen first to women and their experiences and what they are passing by. Consider abortion, I'm always listening for testimonies from women, and that's my first like source for getting this info. I think my rule right now to use my 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 research to make advocacy for abortion rights in my region, to use my social media channels to talk as much as I can that we want more access for abortion medication, for making education for women about their bodies and how they can make their own choices if they want to go through abortion, if they want to do anything. They should have the like the all the control over their bodies, not to be influenced by men. uh, and we should like fight patriarchy that like had been embedded or rooted in our community and our culture, to face all the struggles that women are facing right now, especially abortion.
Thank you. It was really like special to talk with you, especially for me, from my perspective from Latin America. It's a completely different scenario. We have like a big social movements, anyways, from different situations, but at the same time, I feel like we are in the same situation regarding abortion rights in many regions for not having access, not having unsafe, like having tons of unsafe abortions, not having spaces for women to talk about their rights. So thank you so much. Well, I want to remember that we launched our website today, and we're gonna have the profile of Egypt open for research the next week. As we talked today, there are not many data, but well, is what we are also claiming for. It's also what we are advocating for. We need data for advancing women's rights, for advancing people's rights. Thank you, Patrick.
Yes, it was my pleasure to be with you today. Like, I really appreciate your work and effort in on your project. I wish, like, in the upcoming years, to access your project to get some data about my region. It will be a really influencing thing for me. Let's hope that it could be done. I think like everything like started as a dream, so I'm really believing uh, that your passion will make you reach your own dream of having a data for abortion in our region and your region. And don't want to miss the chance to say that the feminist movement in Egypt and the women who are working here or dealing with abortion, they are doing a great effort. They are doing their best. They are facing a lot of hassles and obstacles, and that make it harder for them. But all the appreciation for them. They are doing a great work. They are doing all their best. But it's hard. But I should appreciate them. Uh, let's hope the upcoming days like carrying something good for both of us and for our countries, considering the human rights and considering abortion especially.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank
actually, what you just say is super important to recognize because it's not a path that we are starting to walk. It's a
you.
path that there are many people working on in Colombia, in Brazil, in Latin America, in Egypt. We have many amazing people behind us that have done amazing job regarding abortion rights. So yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
for being the amazing activists from the region that also have been able to spread your voice to Europe and other parts of the world. Really, congrats. And I also would like to invite people to know more about the restrictions that are over Egypt for activism and the restrictions that also you are going over. Yeah, so I hope, and I know that me and all the abortion data team, we hope that you can travel soon.
Thanks
And
a lot.
thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. I wish you all the best, and it was my pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.